And I hope Paddy is gonna lose, because if Paddy wins, it's gonna be a problem for me again.
Why do you think so?
I think he's gonna try and avoid me.
You say if he wins against Justin or if he wins against Ilya?
No, against Justin. Against Ilya, he never can beat Ilya.
Okay.
Yeah, he wants me to get hurt because I'm not gonna fight him. I'm a nightmare for him, and he knows that if we're gonna fight, he's gonna lose.
Arman Tsarukyan just dropped the most brutal call-out in the entire division, and honestly, he's not wrong. While everyone else is playing politics and cherry-picking easy fights, this guy is straight-up exposing the entire lightweight division for what it really is, a bunch of scared fighters running from the one man who could end their careers in spectacular fashion. His latest post isn't just trash talk, it's a declaration of war. Quote, "Everyone's scared ducking me, so I'll keep traveling and getting the bags from these side quests." Translation: while you cowards hide behind your managers and promotional politics, I'm out here making money and staying sharp, waiting for one of you to finally grow a spine. What makes this even more devastating is that Tsarukyan isn't just throwing around empty accusations. Look at the evidence. How many top contenders have mysteriously found other opponents when his name comes up? How many have suddenly discovered injuries or scheduling conflicts? The man is basically the boogeyman of 155 pounds, and instead of running toward the biggest payday and biggest name recognition fight available, these so-called elite fighters are literally doing everything possible to avoid him.
He wants me to get hurt because I'm not gonna fight him. I'm a nightmare for him, and he knows that if we're gonna fight, he's gonna lose, and he's gonna try not to fight me on his whole life. And I hope Justin Gage is gonna knock him out and send him back to England, and he can eat his I don't know what he's eating there, chicken or whatever.
But here's where it gets absolutely fascinating from a strategic standpoint. Tsarukyan revealed he's actively rooting for Justin Gage to get past Paddy Pimblett, and his reasoning exposes something crucial about the current state of the division. He sees Gage as that increasingly rare breed of fighter who actually embraces chaos and welcomes the toughest possible challenges, regardless of the risk involved. Meanwhile, he's basically predicting that if Paddy wins, that fight will never materialize because Paddy's team will find every excuse in the book to avoid that nightmare matchup. Think about what that says about the current landscape. Tsarukyan is literally handicapping fights based not on skill or rankings, but on who's willing to actually fight and who's going to duck behind politics and promotional maneuvering. This isn't just fight analysis. It's a masterclass in reading the psychology and business incentives that drive decision-making in modern MMA. And if he's right about Gage being one of the few willing to take that fight, it tells you everything you need to know about how the rest of these guys operate.
Yeah, because once I get this belt, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to beat Ilya. I'm going to beat Paddy. I'm going to beat Ilya. And then I got to get Max back. Have to. So I need him to win. I need him to beat Charles.
Yeah, right.
Actually, I guess who doesn't matter. They both beat me, so I want either one of those.
Meanwhile, Justin Gage is painting a completely different picture of what championship success actually means, and it's not what most people expect. Instead of talking about finally reaching the mountaintop and enjoying the spoils of victory, he's framing a potential title win as the beginning of his most dangerous chapter, not the end. This is a man who's been carrying the weight of specific losses for years, and he's making it crystal clear that wearing gold around his waist won't satisfy that burning need for redemption. The way he talks about unfinished business isn't casual fighter talk, it's deeply personal. You can hear it in his voice when he references those familiar names sitting at the top of the sport. These aren't just potential fights to him, they're scores that need settling. What's wild is how he's completely flipping the typical championship narrative. Most fighters talk about how becoming champion would validate their career and allow them to be more selective. Gage is suggesting the opposite, that the belt would give him the platform and leverage to specifically target the fights that matter most to him personally, regardless of business considerations or easy money fights.
There, Max Holloway for the BMF belt, a belt that you've held before. What do you think of that matchup?
Yeah, I love it. Love it. Love it. Yeah. I hope Max wins. I hope Ilya goes up, and then I can fight Max on the White House card and take the BMF belt and the championship.
Oh, there you go.
And get this, Gage has already mapped out his ideal post-championship timeline, and it reads like a fan's dream scenario. He's specifically targeting a rematch with Max Holloway, but only if Max can get past Charles Oliveira first. Then he wants to see Ilia Topuria move up in weight and essentially wait for him, which would clear the path for that massive Holloway showdown at what he's calling the White House, likely referring to a major UFC card at an iconic venue. This isn't random matchmaking fantasy, this is strategic career planning at the highest level. Geethch understands that timing is everything in this sport, and he's trying to orchestrate a sequence of events that maximizes both the financial and legacy implications of each fight. But here's what makes this even more interesting. He's banking on other fighters making specific decisions that serve his narrative. He needs Max to beat Oliveira. He needs Topuria to move up in weight. He needs the stars to align perfectly. That's either supreme confidence or a potentially risky strategy that could leave him waiting for fights that never materialize.
The weird thing is, what if Ilya comes back in the summertime, right? And now you've got an interim champion, and usually the interim champion will fight the actual champion.
Maybe.
You're neither of those. That means we're talking about another fight happening, and you're not fighting for the belt, and now we're talking about the back end of the year.
Yeah, but maybe BMF title.
Okay.
So we'll see.
You don't want that, right? You want the real title.
Yeah, I want a real title, but I don't want to wait until the end of the next year. And then Ilya, he fights once a year. Maybe he defend his title in June and then say, okay, I'll fight next year in June. And then what I can do, just stay. And I'm not that young to wait a lot too. So if they give me BMF title, it would be great too. If Charles Oliveira wins, so it's gonna be good. We got the story, and just get that belt, and then the real.
Now here's where things get really spicy. Arman Tsarukyan is also eyeing that same Charles Oliveira versus Max Holloway winner, but for completely different reasons. He wants the BMF title, and he's only interested if Ilya Topuria delays his return until summer. His logic is brutally practical and exposes something most fans don't think about. Topuria has a track record of fighting just once per year, and Tsarukyan is essentially saying he refuses to put his career on hold waiting for a guy who treats fighting like a part-time hobby. This is business strategy disguised as fight planning. The BMF belt represents a massive opportunity for name recognition and financial gain, and Tsarukyan sees it as the perfect interim move to keep his momentum building while the regular title picture sorts itself out. What's brilliant about this approach is that he's not just sitting around hoping for the perfect opportunity. He's creating multiple pathways to success. If Topuria wants to take his time, fine. Tsarukyan will capture lightning in a bottle with the BMF title and use that platform to demand even bigger fights down the line.
When I was going to lose to Max, who makes the choice there to go to sleep or knock him out?
But wait, it gets even more revealing when you hear Geethch's thoughts on his legendary war with Max Holloway. He's stating unequivocally that he has zero regrets about his decision in those final chaotic moments, even though it ultimately cost him the fight. Think about what that means. He knew the fight was slipping away. He knew he could have coasted to the final bell and taken a safer, less devastating loss. Instead, he consciously chose to bet everything on one last explosive exchange, fully accepting that it could backfire spectacularly. And it did. But here's what separates Geethch from every other fighter. He's not just okay with that decision, he's proud of it. He's basically saying that most fighters would have taken the safe route, but embracing absolute chaos is fundamental to who he is as a person and a competitor. Even more telling, he's hinting that if another fight ever comes down to a similar do-or-die moment, his approach wouldn't change one bit. That's either admirable warrior spirit or concerning recklessness, depending on your perspective.
Losing, and I knew that was my only chance. And most people, rightly so, would not take that chance. But that's who I am, and that's if I get that chance, if I'm in that position again, I will do the same exact thing.
However, Paddy Pimblett has a completely different take on the Geethch situation, and his confidence is honestly staggering. He firmly believes that Max Holloway provided a clear blueprint for beating Geethch, and he's not just planning to follow that blueprint, he's expecting to improve on it dramatically. Paddy is stating flat out that he feels comfortable standing and striking with Geethch, using Max's masterful performance as his strategic foundation. But here's the kicker. He's not just confident about winning, he's predicting a finish within 3 rounds. That level of specificity suggests either supreme preparation and confidence, or dangerous overconfidence that could backfire spectacularly. What makes this even more intriguing is that Paddy is essentially claiming he can do what Max Holloway did, but better and faster. That's a bold statement considering Max is widely regarded as one of the most technically sound strikers in the sport. If Paddy can back up this talk, it completely reshuffles the entire division. If he can't, He's about to learn a very painful lesson about the difference between confidence and delusion.
No secret that he wants to keep this on the feet. We know his knockout power, but your submission skills are so slick. You want to take it to the ground? Oh, okay.
I'll keep it on the feet with him. Like, there's the blueprint there to beat him. Max done it, and everyone underestimates my strike, and everyone thinks I'm just gonna come in and I'm gonna take him down, and I'm not. Like, he had an absolute war with Chandler, and I Chandler up. So I know MMA math doesn't work, but you'll see come Jan 24th when we have a perfect game plan and we finish.
Here's where the story takes a surprisingly philosophical turn. Geith is candidly acknowledging something most fighters won't admit. He's closer to the end of his career than the beginning. But instead of talking about slowing down or being more careful, he's describing this awareness as paradoxically liberating and motivating. He beautifully describes fighting as delivering unmatched highs and lows so intense that they fundamentally change how everything else in life feels. This isn't just athlete talk. This is someone who understands they're living through experiences that most people will never have access to, and that awareness is making him value every moment more deeply. What's fascinating is how he's embracing this reality rather than fighting against it or pretending it's not happening. Instead of denial, he's using the knowledge that his time is limited as fuel to make every remaining fight count. That's either mature acceptance or a potentially dangerous mindset that could lead to taking unnecessary risks.
Every single one of these is a traumatic life experience, and it's there's no matching the high or the low of winning or losing this sport. And you know, it kind of ruined other parts of life, but now I am so hungry, and I've never felt more alive than when I feel in there. I will miss it when it's gone, and you know, I think I truly love it more than most.
Are you allowing yourself to think about that yet? When you said when it's gone, you're not anywhere near that yet, are you?
No. But it's not the beginning. You know, I'm 37 years old. There's no, you know, I'd be a fool to think that we're just getting started here. The end is near.
And get this, Geith just made one of the most sobering declarations you'll ever hear from an active fighter. He stated that if he ever gets knocked out again, he would likely walk away from MMA entirely. He explained that being put to sleep for the first time was a deeply impactful experience that forced him to reassess where he stands in his career, noting that this is no longer the beginning of his journey, but the final stretch. This isn't just career planning. This is a man who's learned to listen to his body and his brain in ways that many fighters never do. He's emphasizing the importance of protecting his long-term health and trusting his team and family to keep his best interests in mind. The wisdom of knowing when to stop rather than letting the sport take more than it gives back. There was even an implied question about how many wars he has left in him, and his answer suggests that number might be smaller than anyone realizes. This adds an incredible sense of urgency and stakes to every single fight he takes going forward.
One more knockout. I went to sleep. Before that, I'd never been put to sleep. If I would get put to sleep again, I would definitely call it quits.
Really? So you're drawing a line?
That's been my line. Yeah, it never happened. So it wasn't like if I get knocked out, I'm quitting. But once I got knocked out, you know, 37 years old. If I was 20, 27, 30, this would be a different story. But this is not the beginning. This is definitely the end of my career, and it's been such an amazing thing. And obviously, they'll use and abuse you in this sport, and you have to protect yourself. You know, and I obviously have created a team. You know, I got my family and my coaches, and they all have my best interests in at hand. And I've always told them that I'm in it till they say I don't have it no more. Or whenever I feel like my younger self, the hunger of my younger self can beat the skills that I have now, then it would.
On the flip side, Paddy Pimblett is already thinking 3 moves ahead, dropping hints that he's meticulously planning for Ilia Topuria's eventual return even while keeping his focus on Geith. This is next-level strategic thinking. He's making it clear that there won't be any easing-in period when Topuria makes his comeback. Instead, Paddy is planning to meet him head-on with immediate, devastating force. His plan is straightforward but ambitious. First, take care of business against Geith, then immediately shift focus to ensuring Topuria's return is nothing short of hostile and unforgettable. What's interesting is how Paddy is positioning himself as the division's welcoming committee for returning champions, but in the most violent way possible. He's not waiting for opportunities to come to him. He's actively creating a pathway to the biggest names and biggest fights available.
No, I wasn't too surprised. I know Ilia's going through a lot of stuff and wish him nothing but the best with it, know what I mean? It's, That's nothing to do with us fighting, it's nothing to do with being in the cage. So all that around his family life, I hope everything goes perfect for him. But when he does finally come back and get in the cage, I'm going to punch his face in. But for now, when I win this belt, I am the champ, you know what I mean? While he's out the cage, I'm the lightweight champ. And that's the way I see it.
So that interim belt to you will feel undisputed?
Yeah.
Now listen to this part. Paddy didn't hold back when discussing the size difference between himself and Topuria. He took a direct shot at Ilya's frame, suggesting with complete confidence that his own size gives him a distinct advantage in any potential matchup. He pointed out that Topuria appears notably smaller and narrower, reminding everyone that weight classes exist for crucial reasons in combat sports. Then he delivered a stark warning. If Topuria dares to step up to lightweight, he could be walking into serious trouble against the baddie. This isn't just trash talk, it's strategic psychological warfare designed to plant seeds of doubt. Paddy is essentially saying that natural size and strength advantages matter, and no amount of skill can completely overcome the physical realities of fighting bigger, stronger opponents. Whether that's accurate remains to be seen, but it's a calculated attempt to get inside Topuria's head before they ever share the octagon.
Support. Essentially, he wants you to win. He wants that fight. Have you allowed yourself to think of what a fight with Ilya looks like?
Yeah, I think I beat him up as well, you know what I mean? Like, he's very small compared to me, you know what I mean? He's up to like here, he's not that wide. You've definitely seen that video of him and Pantoja just stood next to each other and they look the same weight. So, like, there's weight classes for a reason. And if he wants to fight me at 155, it'll get seriously messy on it.
Meanwhile, Geith has been emphasizing that his focus is exclusively on Paddy right now, and absolutely no one else. He's describing his approach as embodying a total war mindset, zero distractions, no consideration for anyone else in the division, every ounce of attention dedicated to the challenge directly in front of him. This level of tunnel vision is either exactly what's needed for optimal performance, or potentially dangerous if it means he's not adequately preparing for Paddy's specific skill set and style. What's clear is that Geith understands the stakes. He knows that looking past Paddy toward bigger names and title shots could be the exact kind of mistake that ends careers. In a sport where one moment of lost focus can change everything, his commitment to staying present and locked in on the immediate threat shows the kind of mental discipline that separates champions from contenders.
Says Scousers don't get knocked out. What do you say to that?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Have you allowed...
I will try to test that theory.
Have you allowed yourself to think ahead to once you win, if you get the win, Ilya? No thought?
Nope, I've said it before, I don't ever plan on being alive after the fight, so if that's how it ends, that's how it ends.
But here's what makes this matchup so fascinating. Paddy speaks with absolute confidence that his fight with Geith won't go the distance. He frames Geith as dangerous but hittable, positioning himself as the fighter with the unique skills to capitalize on that vulnerability. Paddy is suggesting this matchup will end with a decisive finish rather than a close decision, which adds incredible stakes to every exchange. If he's right, it proves his analysis and preparation were superior. If he's wrong, he could find himself on the wrong end of the violence he's predicting. What's interesting is how both fighters seem convinced they have the other figured out. Geith sees Paddy as the immediate threat requiring total focus. Paddy sees Geith as a dangerous but ultimately solvable puzzle. One of them is about to be very, very wrong.
I think I finish him wherever the fight goes, to be honest. Obviously, I know we can bang, but every fight we get a breakdown made of our opponent, and it actually shocks me how much he gets hit. And I know he takes one to give one, but you can't really just do that at this level. That's why he's lost to people like Eddie Alvarez, Dustin Poirier, Charles, because you can't just take one to give one. And I'm not going to just be standing there to let him hit me back. You know what I mean? So, be using me range, keeping him on the outside, and I've got a feeling I'm going to knock him out, to be honest. I don't know what it is. I've just got a sneaky suspicion I'm going to knock him out. You know, I've been doing a lot of rounds with Luke Riley for this camp, and Luke's got much better technical striking than Justin Gagey, and I'm having a lot of success sparring with Luke. And obviously, one of my coaches, Ellis, who used to fight himself, he's the exact same build as Justin. He's 5'10" with a 70-inch reach. And I've been doing rounds with him. He's literally, because he doesn't fight anymore, lad, and he's just a coach, he's just done Justin's style for me. He hasn't got his own style. He's been doing Justin for me, and just the bits what were working. I can see me knocking them out or dropping them and then submitting them. People are going on about his takedown defense, but if I want to take him down, I will take him down, lad. Simple as.
Here's where Paddy's approach gets really interesting. He's leaning into his unconventional fighting style as a strategic advantage. He openly describes himself as awkward and weird inside the cage, explaining that his striking and wrestling don't follow traditional patterns, making him virtually impossible for opponents to replicate in training. According to Paddy, no sparring partner can truly mimic his unpredictable style, which keeps opponents guessing and gives him a competitive edge. This is actually brilliant fight strategy disguised as self-deprecating humor. By embracing his unorthodox approach rather than trying to conform to traditional techniques, he's created a unique fighting identity that's genuinely difficult to prepare for. The question is whether that unconventional style will be enough against someone like Geith, who's seen every type of fighter and has the experience to adapt mid-fight to unexpected approaches.
Talk that, just in case he has good wrestling, he uses it very well defensively. Can you foresee him maybe being able to stuff your takedowns?
No.
No.
I don't wrestle like a normal person. I don't shoot double legs and single legs and wrestle like a normal person does. I do everything differently. I'm not normal. So he's not gonna be able to get a sparring partner in what grapples like me or strikes like me, because I'm a weirdo.
Fair enough.
It's the way it is, but
He did call your style awkward, actually.
I'm honest, Val, and I'm very awkward. You can't really get a sparring partner in to do me because I'm so awkward. So I'm looking forward to fighting him. As I say, he's a legend. He's someone I've always loved watching. So to get the chance to actually get in the cage and fight with him is unbelievable. Like, I can't wait, and to have Justin Gage on my resume is going to be something that'll last forever, you know what I mean? It'll be part of my legacy, and I'm looking forward to it.
Switching gears completely, we've got some explosive drama brewing between Daniel Cormier and John Jones that's heating up again. Jones recently launched a fresh wave of criticism against Cormier, claiming he's made repeated efforts over the years to move past their contentious history, but suggesting that no matter what he does, the tension remains. According to Jones, what started as professional competition has transformed into something deeply personal, and he feels Cormier has no interest in resolving it whatsoever. This is fascinating because it positions Jones as the mature party trying to move forward while painting Cormier as someone clinging to old grudges. But here's the thing, Jones has a history of saying one thing publicly while his actions suggest something completely different. Is this genuine desire for reconciliation or strategic image management designed to make him look like the bigger person? Given their history, skepticism seems warranted.
This is against Daniel Cormier. What a stuffy, Cormier really is. I think if you really get to know Daniel Cormier, he's really...
Jones went even deeper, describing his behind-the-scenes experiences working with Cormier as profoundly uncomfortable. He stated that any lighter moments they shared were consistently overshadowed by underlying tension, observing that Cormier kept to his own circle and carried himself in ways that created friction. Jones suggested their time together only reinforced existing issues rather than building any bridges, leaving his view of Cormier largely unchanged. This paints a picture of two people who simply cannot coexist professionally, even when they're supposed to be working toward common goals. What's interesting is how Jones is framing this. He's not taking responsibility for any of the tension, instead positioning himself as someone who tried to make things work, while Cormier remained difficult and standoffish. It's a calculated narrative that puts all the blame on DC while making Jones look reasonable and accommodating.
He was an asshole. I mean, he didn't really connect with any of the fighters here. He's just an asshole. I tried to make peace with him many times, and he made it very clear that he wants to be enemies for the rest of his life because how lucrative it is.
But you guys having fun here?
There was moments where we got to laugh, but for the most part, he's a dickhead. You look at the way that he treats his staff members. He brought like 10 yes men out with him and literally, go get me my water. Where's my this? Why is that this? It was just, he just bosses guys around. And the times we weren't filming, he wasn't very sociable with the people on set. He's just a dickhead. I think people that really work with him will know this.
Daniel Cormier fired back with his own perspective on their complicated history, and his response reveals just how deep this rivalry really goes. He acknowledged they'd spent significant time together and even shared some lighter moments, but made it crystal clear he has no desire to be around Jones voluntarily in any capacity moving forward. Cormier admitted their past was messy, characterized by harsh personal attacks and deep betrayals. While he doesn't hold the same intense emotions he once did, he's equally not in a place of forgiveness or seeking friendship. This is mature honesty about the reality of their relationship, acknowledging that time has dulled the sharp edges of their hatred without pretending that means they can or should be friends. It's the kind of nuanced take that shows real emotional intelligence, recognizing that some bridges are burned beyond repair, and that's actually okay.
There was moments where we got to laugh, but for the most part, he's a dickhead. You look at the way that he treats his staff members. He brought like 10 yes men out with him and literally, go get me my water. Where's my this? Why is that this? It was just, he just bosses guys around. And the times we weren't filming, he wasn't very sociable with the people on set. He's just a dickhead. I think people that really work with him knows that.
Adding a wild twist to this saga, Cormier confirmed he's open to a wrestling showdown with Jones, though he admits making it happen would be incredibly complicated. He explained that organizing such an event would be astronomically expensive and logistically challenging. Plus, he's unsure if Jones would even agree to step on the mat. Still, he's leaving the door open, framing it as a high-stakes challenge fans want to see, even if he suspects it might remain a pipe dream. This is brilliant positioning by Cormier. He's showing he's not afraid to compete with Jones in his strongest discipline, while simultaneously putting pressure on Jones to accept or look like he's backing down. It's also a way to potentially settle their rivalry without the health risks of actual fighting, since both men are past their physical primes.
Hey, dickhead, asshole, not willing to make peace, didn't connect with the fighters. It was like 4 shots in 30 seconds there.
Did you, have you worked with me?
Yes, I have.
For how long?
I worked, friends, covered you.
How long? Am I all those things?
No, that's why I thought it was very interesting to hear from him.
So then just trust John Jones. Maybe I'm all those things to him. Like, here's the deal. We were around each other every single day. And we were cordial. We had times where John and I actually laughed at stuff. Like, we laughed together at stuff. But if I didn't have to be around him, I'm not gonna voluntarily be around him. Why would I want that? Look, man, I don't harbor the emotion of the past that I did with him. I really don't. But we spoke negatively about each other's families. We had a nasty thing. Like, he cheated constantly. Like, I don't have to let him off the hook and be his friend.
Cormier absolutely didn't hold back when discussing the specifics of any potential matchup with Jones. He made it clear he's not interested in fighting anymore, joking about his age and graying hair, but declared supreme confidence if the challenge were wrestling. He insisted with fierce conviction that his Olympic background would make it a decisive 10-0 victory in his favor. This is Cormier at his most confident, leaning into the one area where his credentials are unquestionably superior to Jones. It's also psychological warfare by expressing such certainty about the outcome. He's challenging Jones' ego and potentially baiting him into accepting a challenge where Cormier holds every advantage. Whether Jones' pride would allow him to step into Cormier's world remains the ultimate question.
Chances you compete against him in something this year? This seems to be the hot button issue right now. People want to see you in the RAF promotion or in some sort of competition. What are the chances?
I don't know, man. I don't know if it'll happen. Listen, to make me and him do anything costs so much money. There's very few people that can actually make it happen. So I don't know if it happens. And, the whole wrestling thing, that's cool, man. It's all cool to make pipe dreams, but I don't know that he's willing to allow me to embarrass him on a wrestling match.
However, Kamaru Usman raised some pertinent doubts about Jones' potential as a coach, suggesting significant changes in Jones over the years, and implying his ego might interfere with his ability to guide others effectively. Cormier points out that effective coaching requires prioritizing team needs above all else, but he feels Jones still carries the mindset of an active fighter rather than embracing the self-sacrificing role of developing others. This criticism cuts deeper than typical rivalry talk, because it questions Jones' character and ability to evolve beyond his fighting career.
Jones wants to wrestle, then yeah, I'll go wrestle John Jones.
What if John Jones wants to fight?
He don't even have to make a video to ask me to wrestle.
Yeah. What if John Jones wants to fight?
I'm not fighting, man.
You're done?
No. I'm not fighting. Look at my face, dude. Look at all this gray.
Hey, you look great. I like the beard.
Hey, I'm not fighting. I would box him, but I'm not fighting.
You would box John? I would love to see it.
Why not?
Really?
Yeah, I'd box his face up.
Wow.
I'm older. Hey, bro, I prefer to actually just not do any of that stuff, honestly.
Okay.
I'm old, man. I'm a commentator. I'm chilling. Yeah. Wrestling match, probably. Wrestling match would be preferable.
How does it go?
Wrestling?
Yeah.
10-0.
10-0. Easy.
Bro, I am an Olympian.
2-time.
We're going to get in a wrestling stance and wrestle with shoes on? 10-0. All day.
Just say, this does happen. What you thinking, Henry? Because I don't think it's what people are, general consensus is thinking. I don't think that's how this goes down.
What do you mean, like as in?
What you thinking? How you thinking?
No, you're telling me you got John Jones?
I'm not telling you anything. All I'm saying is, that's the general consensus, and I'm telling you right now, it's not that simple. Because John Jones never went to the Division I and had the accolades and all of that, people sleep on just how talented John Jones. I believe John Jones could have been a multiple-time Division I champion. I believe that. John Jones was that good at wrestling. That good. And I've watched John Jones decide, I'm going to wrestle. And when he decided to wrestle, he made people look bad. To where, listen, I'm telling you, this man is just freak athletic talent and the whole family. You know, John and Arthur, both state champion, New York state champions. You know, I know that's not saying a lot because that's high school, and DC definitely has the international, accolades. But listen, they fought. And yes, I understand that's just fighting, that's MMA. But when he came down to that wrestling exchange, John is no slouch. This ain't gonna be just that easy.
Spending all the time with John in Thailand, he's different today than he was back then. He's not that same person that he was back when him and I were going through all of our stuff. I just know. You know what Khabib is? And why he's such a great coach? Khabib is the most selfless person you've ever met. Dude, he can put his athletes above himself, in front of him, in everything that he does. And in order to be a great coach, you cannot have an ego. You have to become secondary to everyone that you coach. And John is he's still on the roster. He's an active fighter. And I don't know if he can be as giving and selfless to make Gable the true star of the show.